Do you know that doctors are reporting an increased number of people coming into emergency rooms with stomach pain and uncontrollable vomiting? And they found a shocking reason. It's marijuana. So why is weed making people sick? Let's dig in. In the US, an uncommon disease is becoming more common, particularly in regions where marijuana has been legalized. Adolescents and other chronic cannabis users are going to emergency rooms with issues of high stomach pain and vomiting. They are writhing in pain, holding their stomach, complaining of really bad abdominal pain and nausea. They vomit and then just keep vomiting whatever's in their stomach, which can go on for hours. They also frequently claim that even though they had a really hot shower right before visiting the ER, it didn't help. The mention of taking a hot shower and, as a result, some of the patients experiencing relief and nausea struck the doctors. That's when they know they may have a case of cannabis hyperemesis syndrome, or CHS. So, what is CHS? This has everything to do with your endocannabinoid system. It's a widespread neurobiological system in your body that allows you to maintain homeostasis, or in simple words, it's the balance in your body that allows you to live. It can help you when you're stressed. It can also help you psychologically when you swallow a toxin by helping you vomit it out. All these functions of the endocannabinoid system keep your body at homeostasis, which is the healthy baseline that helps you as a living organism to maintain your precious life. So, this system is controlled by natural neurotransmitters in your body called cannabinoids, which act on receptors. For instance, the CB1 receptor in your brain. The thing is that marijuana has molecules that mimic these cannabinoids. They can trick your brain into believing that the chemical substances in marijuana are the natural neurotransmitters that your brain is producing. Without marijuana, the cannabinoids circulate at minimal quantities in your body, but when you ingest marijuana, you create a flood of cannabinoids in your system, such as the psychoactive component THC, which is similar to the natural neurotransmitter anandamide. This can create neuronal activity in certain parts of your brain that can make you high. When you're high, it can make you think. Lots of thoughts come to your mind as if you have no control over them. Your alertness, imagination, and perception are heightened. However, the endocannabinoid system affects other aspects of homeostasis, such as sleep, mood, appetite, anxiety, and nausea. Your sleep can be affected, or you may feel low or anxious. When you take marijuana in high amounts or more frequently, researchers think that the overstimulation of the endocannabinoid system leads to a derangement in your body's intrinsic control of nausea, anxiety, and vomiting. This has led to this new disease called cannabis hyperemesis syndrome. And the psychological aspect, how exactly does it work? Well, cannabis consumption controls serotonin in areas of the brain that control nausea and vomiting. So at low doses, it can actually treat patients undergoing chemotherapy by relieving them of their nausea. But in large amounts over long periods, the cannabis overstimulates your CB1 receptors, and your endocannabinoid system stops working properly. This means that your ability to maintain homeostasis, or balance, becomes negatively affected. For example, if you consume too much marijuana when you are nauseous, the body may have a hard time shutting off the nausea. And if you are stressed or anxious, your endocannabinoid system now has a hard time bringing you back down to the baseline or homeostasis. This is what can now lead to uncontrollable, stressed and vomiting state, known as the cannabis hyperemesis syndrome. Above all, we know that marijuana can affect your stomach. The research shows that marijuana increases activity in parts of your brain that promote hunger. One study found that smoking marijuana leads to significant decreases in peptide tyrosine. Tyrosine is a gut hormone that inhibits food's intake. On the contrary, marijuana is known to increase the hunger hormone ghrelin, a key hormone produced by your stomach. This can lead to the munchies, and again, if you consume too much of this cannabis, researchers see that the first symptom of the syndrome is a decrease in appetite that slowly leads to this vomiting state. Suffering from this disease depends on a variety of factors such as diet, age, and the size of your body, but most importantly, how long and how often you consume marijuana. So the frequency and dosage of your weed intake matters. Let's have a look at the research done on this condition called CHS. When a group of Australian researchers studied about 19 chronic marijuana users who experienced repeated episodes of abdominal pain and retching, cannabis hyperemesis syndrome suddenly gained attention in the medical community in 2004. Strangely, more than half of the 19 said they self-treated their symptoms by taking very hot showers or baths. Hot bathing as a home remedy started to emerge as more and more CHS cases were reported. But why a hot shower? We don't exactly know why they are using hot showers, and even the medical professionals are clueless. The primary psychoactive ingredient in marijuana gets access to the body's pain receptors. And one possible explanation is that the intense heat coming from taking hot baths can disrupt the pain cycle and reduce symptoms. The peculiarity of this new condition is further complicated by the fact that THC and other cannabis plant cannabinoids have been used to treat pain, ironically by reducing nausea and vomiting in cancer patients undergoing chemotherapy. However, despite the popularity of marijuana as a painkiller, study results on its effectiveness have been mixed. Still, why does the same substance relieve pain and cause pain? The possible answer is dosage levels. The potency of THCs in today's marijuana products is on the rise. There is substantial evidence that the amount of THC that now comes in cannabis is increasing. In the 90s, the average was 4% or 5%. Now, in places like Colorado, it's anywhere from 15 to 20%. That is a 4 times increase. And there is also another mystery. Do you know that not all heavy users of weed are affected by CHS? It's not entirely clear who is more likely to get it, and doctors and researchers are wondering whether it's a certain frequency or duration of use, a specific potency, or a specific type of product. They don't have that much data to determine the exact cause. So this relatively new issue with marijuana use, should we blame this on the legalization of weed? Researchers analyze medical data for incidences of vomiting that have been reported often and link those to local marijuana use. When marijuana was legalized in Colorado for recreational purposes in 2014, researchers managed to do that. Since 2009, it has been permitted to consume marijuana for medical purposes. Between 2013 and 2018, there were over 800,000 reported cases of vomiting in Colorado, according to the data from research. That was roughly a 29% increase since the state's legalization of marijuana. It was also observed that more than a third of the vomiting cases were in people of 25 years and younger, and that the age group where we can mostly spot stoners. And this is not a rare problem. When a teenager comes in with cyclical abdominal pain and vomiting, the doctors know they should ask about cannabis use. Now, it's a pretty common practice to see this, and they diagnose and treat it as if it's normal. IV fluids to prevent dehydration from vomiting and anti-nausea medications are the first lines of treatment. To rule out alternative causes, patients also go through a battery of testing, including costly CT scans, uncomfortable upper GI endoscopies, blood and urine tests, and gastric emptying tests. Furthermore, CHS may be fatal if they wait too long without taking treatment. If you leave cannabis hyperemesis syndrome or another viral infection that makes you unstoppably vomit, you can run the risk of dehydration, electrolyte imbalances, shock, and organ failure. CHS is no different, so stoners, be alert. Research data indicates that CHS is a national problem. According to a 2020 study, when only medical marijuana was legal in most states, nearly 1 in 5 people hospitalized for cyclical vomiting in the US reported continuous cannabis use. Adult use of marijuana for recreational purposes is allowed in almost 17 states and the District of Columbia, while medical use is permitted in around 36 states and many territories. Most US adults, 60%, believe marijuana should be legal for both medical and recreational use. It should be expected that more states will legalize marijuana in the coming years with such strong support. So, is blaming marijuana a solution? Not at all. If it is legalized, they should be responsible for it too. People have to take into account the potential dangers of cannabis. especially in youngsters. In teenagers and young adults, we have this growing concern about habitual use and its toll on physical and mental health. They will use it for recreation, to reduce stress, to escape from uncomfortable situations, and so on. Thus, if it is legalized or illegal, awareness and responsibility should be there. What is your take on this problem? Do you think weed should not be legalized and it can reduce problems like this? Tell us in the comments. Also, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it entertaining, then don't forget to hit like and also subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss any future content from us.